Hello everyone. Today I want to discuss with you the current craziness about the Challenger decks. The Challenger decks, it's a new product by Magic the Gathering that replaces dual decks, and these type of decks are the entry level for any player that wants to begin playing Standard. I believe that the Challenger decks are an excellent product for starters. Even it's an excellent product for medium experienced players, where you have a decent standard deck that you can compete and win with. My advice is that you need to add a couple of cards to these decks, but overall these decks are quite powerful on their own. What is happening about Challengers decks? People are going crazy because these decks are in high demand, and the price of these decks are exceeding the MSRP. Let's have a look to these decks. The first one is the Second Sun Control. This deck has the approach of the Second Sun as its main theme. You need to cast twice as much approach to Second Sun to win the game. And as you can see, the deck is already being sold at the MSRP. Recently we have seen products from Magic the Gathering that, like Masters 25 and Iconic Masters, that they never reached the MSRP, and also in case of Iconic Masters the boxes were being sold for half as much the MSRP. Now we finally have a product that is being sold at the MSRP. As I said, Second Sun approach uses and needs to cast 2 approach of the Second Sun. The next deck is Vehicle Rush. This is also another good deck that uses vehicles. It is also being sold at $29.70, which is nearly the MSRP, which is a very good price for a new product from Wizards of the Coast. The Vehicle Rush concentrates around casting Heart of Kiran. Heart of Kiran, it's a vehicle, you cast it for 2 and you crew 3. It's a very strong card, and I remember that when Ether Revolt was being spoiled, this card was being price listed for around $30. Now the price has gone a little bit down, but still a very strong card. The next deck is Counter Search. This is also a very good deck to begin with. It has a price of $29.99. It is exactly as much as the MSRP, and this deck goes around the scripted, and also you can have in it a Fatal Push. I believe that Fatal Push in the future, if not reprinted, will hold a very good price, and probably will also exceed the current $9 price. I'm going to leave the best one to last, which is Howser Aggro. This is a mono red standard deck, and this one is the one that everyone wants. It is currently priced at around $43. I've seen listing for also $49.99 and $50. That means that the price of this deck is $20 above MSRP. This is very rare for Wizards of the Coast products, that you have a product that exceeds MSRP, especially when Eternal Masters was released. That was the last product that exceeded MSRP, and you may know that after the second print run the price of Eternal Masters went down and a lot of trust was lost. Finally, we are seeing a little bit of more trust in Wizards of the Coast products, where we have a Challenger deck that is $20 above MSRP. Why this deck is $20 MSRP? Yes, it is a very strong deck, but you have cards like Chandra, Torch of Defiance, a $25 card. You have copies of Howser the Fervent, which sits around $10 to $15. You have also Glory Bringer, another good $5 to $6 card. You have Harsh Mentor, you have Karizet, you have cards like Bomat Courier, which currently is being used in standard in every deck, especially mono red. You have a Soul Scar Mage, also used in modern. You have Abrade, a very strong card, used also in modern. You have Lightning Strike, a good removal, and you have also the Fanatical Firebrand. The only thing, and this is the only thing that I believe Wizards of the Coast could have corrected, because there's not really a lot of cost, is that you don't have copies of Raghavan token. Yes, you play Karizev, and therefore you need at least a copy of Raghava. But it's something that we can forgive Wizard of the Coast, but it would have been a nice add-on to this deck. Also, why the price of this deck is so high, apart from the good cards you have, apart from buying the deck and selling the singles, you could profit. Something else is that recently in GP Seattle we had a deck, a mono red deck, that manages to win 18-0. Yes, in GP Seattle we had a deck by Ganyan. It is a mono red, and for the first time a mono red manages to win a GP for 18-0. That means, and this is astonishing, that a deck never lost one game in this GP. Mono red, especially cards like Chandra Torch of Defiance, Howser, Rekindling Phoenix, have proven that this deck is very strong. As I said, Ganyan won this GP Seattle 18-0, and this is the deck list. The deck list concentrates around red cards like Howser, like Karizev, like Lightning Strike, like Abrade, like Bomat Courier, and you have also in the sideboard Chandra Torch of Defiance, and these cards are found in the Howser aggro deck. That's why I believe that Howser aggro deck is the best deck, the best challenger deck you can buy. And also, if you can manage to add cards like Rekindling Phoenix to it, I believe that the deck will be much stronger. Also, a $50 investment to be in play in standard, it's quite low. You have to remember that a booster box costs around $90, $80 if you manage to find a good discount. And if you buy a booster box, you're not guaranteed that you have all the cards that you need. My final thought about Challengers deck: they are very good, they are very strong, they're ideal for initial players that want to go into standard. The only downside of these decks is that the majority of the cards are from Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, and that means that in a couple of months those decks will rotate out, those sets will rotate out from standard. When Dominaria will go out, Kaladesh and Aether Revolt will rotate out of standard to make place for Dominaria set. This is the only downside that you have to this Challengers deck. My advice is that be aware what you buy, be aware at what price you buy. If you want to buy and sell singles, it's a good investment. If you want to buy and play, it's a good investment. But if you're seeing a long-term play with these decks, that's not a good investment. Click the subscribe button and leave me a comment what you think about these Challengers decks and their prices.